TV. Okay, a lot of TV. Couple quick things. I watched The Expanse. I'm hearing lots of very strong reactions to it. I had a very bleh reaction. It was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I guess I'll check out the second episode. I mean, Battlestar Galactica, I didn't love it first either. It took me a little bit to get into it. But watching the pilot of The Expanse, nothing caught my eye that much for characters, plot line. Yeah, I guess premise, this whole Mars, Earth, Moon, the belt kind of class warfare going on. That's kind of interesting. Who knows what they'll do with it. For now, I give that 2 stars with a confidence of 1. Moving on, Jessica Jones. Finished the show. Very mixed feelings. I liked it quite a bit at first. It felt edgy. It felt like it was exploring PTSD and potentially issues like abusive relationships and even rape in a way that TV hadn't done before. I think it got kind of repetitive. The show got kind of repetitive and stayed pretty shallow. It didn't delve as deep into things as I was hoping. You know, there were some scenes where like they really go into like, you raped me, this is what rape is. And it felt very on the nose, and just, I was hoping for more subtlety, more nuance, more depth in some of these discussions, and I don't know if the show delivered on that stuff. I mean, and going, if you just listen to what I was talking about with movies, with like Jurassic World and thrillers and that kind of stuff, Jessica Jones suffers from this problem of some really stupid mistakes being made. And I know Jessica is supposed to be a messy character. She tried the whole superhero thing out and it didn't work, and that's cool and great and a wonderful starting point for a character, but she makes some really dumb choices and has some awful plans. She tries, this isn't really a spoiler, she thinks that one way she'll be able to catch David Tennant, who, by the way, I think is fantastic in this role. The script just leaves something to desire that he's being given. Jessica's like, I'll go to a Supermax prison, and then he'll come in to get me, and then we'll record it. And, you know, it's like he's already proven that he has no trouble erasing things, making people forget things, making people not act in certain ways. Dumb things like that. And then she doesn't take any kind of precautions with things. Like, she knows sometimes David Tennant, what's his name, Kilgrave, sometimes an army of people, sometimes the police are all looking for her, and it isn't until the very final episode that she ever tries wearing a disguise. Whoa, what a crazy idea. And there's things that kind of make me question the logic of how Kilgrave's powers work, which they wouldn't have really got me thinking about if they hadn't offered an explanation. They say it's an airborne virus. I don't think that's a spoiler, sorry if that upsets you. But then, by the end, he's able to give it to people over the phone, because somehow they enhance his abilities. I missed if they explained that. But also, if it's an airborne virus, why don't Jessica and other people try wearing respirators? That seems like that could have possibly worked. But I think ultimately the biggest problem my wife and I had with the show, and I watched the whole thing, she actually stopped watching at a certain point, was that in certain ways it just kind of became torture porn in a really uncomfortable way. Like the stuff Kilgrave is doing to people, I mean, yes, it teaches you, I guess, about what it's like to be in an abusive relationship and what that feels like, and, you know, having no control. And yet, it felt exploitative, it felt unnecessary, graphic for graphics' sake. Some of these things are just cringeworthy, and I don't think they added anything to the plotline. So, you know, there'd be a lot of these scenes over and over where Jessica confronts Kilgrave, and they pretty much always end the same way, with someone dying or being hurt in a really terrible way. Usually a different way, they were creative about it, but what that meant was that those scenes very quickly stopped becoming a source of tension for me, and suspense and interest, and then became just kind of something I dread, like, oh god, what horrible thing is going to happen now? And that made it not a lot of fun to watch. And by the way, if I really did have PTSD, or if I was someone who had been in an abusive relationship, I don't think I would like this show. I don't think I'd find it cathartic or anything like that. It would just be really stressful, and it would probably be a trigger for a lot of these things. So, you know, I'm not sure how the show wanted me to feel. Was I supposed to be having more fun watching it than I was? Was I supposed to be thinking harder about some of the issues they were tackling, because I don't think they provided the ammunition for that? And then, yeah, I thought Kilgrave started off as really interesting, and then kind of flattened out a little bit. We learn his backstory and all that, and that's all fine. But then, I don't really understand why he's so interested in Jessica. Why wouldn't he go after one of the Avengers, or Scarlet Witch? Yeah, Scarlet Witch. Why not? I'm surprised he never talked about Loki and Loki's scepter, and the fact that Loki's scepter has these same mind control abilities. Jessica just seems like small potatoes. Yeah, why wouldn't he be interested in Black Widow if he is interested in that strong, independent woman type? His powers are so supersized compared to hers. Anyway, I have very mixed feelings about the show right now. I enjoyed it, but I'm not sure how much I got out of it. I'll say that. Maybe when they start doing the Defenders, or if she shows up in some other thing, she'll be a great side character. Just not sure how I feel about her right now. I mean, it could be like the Hulk. The Hulk movies weren't that great. Joss Whedon did a fantastic job with the Hulk and the Avengers. Looking forward to more of that kind of stuff. Jessica Jones for now. Let's give it 3 stars with a confidence of 2. I'm going to go watch a bunch of Sunday night TV now while working on some projects, and I'll get back to you on some more TV in a moment. Okay, here we are 3 hours later after my Sunday night marathon of TV, which I've started doing again. Yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to focus on shows. I mean, I'm still getting work done, but anyway, this guy is much more awake now. 3 seconds ago for you, 3 hours for me. When I turned that off, I just put him down, and he had a great little, probably 40-minute nap. And now he's like super energetic. I don't know how much he's going to do in front of the camera, but he's been like, waving around a lot, and he's just in his crib, just like jumping up and down, like. It's so funny, these noises he makes, and he's so determined. Like, he has that kind of energy and drive of someone who's really focused, but he's just in one place, just moving all his limbs around. But we're having a good time. So TV tonight, yeah, really good stuff. I'm really digging what's on right now. So I started with The Leftovers, and oh god, actually, I didn't quite make it to the end because I started a little bit late because I was doing this, and there's still like 10 minutes left. Looks like Liv Tyler's about to blow up a bridge or something. That seems about right. Kind of cool to just dive into her character a little bit more, because she was a little bit one-dimensional in season 1, and to understand her motivations is really helpful. I'm definitely more interested now in the Garvey son there than I was before. He's got some interesting stuff going on. I like that he is kind of coming to terms with the fact that he's a fraud, because the guy who was doing the hugging in the first season, there was something about him that felt so genuine, like he really believed it, and I just don't get that same impression here, so it's good to see that's intentional. Also, it's kind of cool to keep delaying for us seeing what's actually going to be happening with Kevin post Crazy Dream. So really digging the show. There's nothing else on TV like it. Hooray for The Leftovers. Curious what's going to happen, though, if Liv Tyler really successfully creates this splinter faction of the guilty remnant and starts doing things like blowing up bridges to the one place where people feel safe, which seems to bother her an awful lot. What was up next? The Affair. Oh god, this episode was so powerful, and again, I've mentioned how I'm really glad they're not sticking too rigidly to the story structure with the whole back and forth, like first this person, then this person. And so this episode was probably the best use of that structure so far. Well, I don't know if the best, but they basically treated it like, I don't know if there's another show I can compare it to perfectly, but I mean, they gave us, instead of names, they just gave us times, and they kept jumping back and forth between Cole, Allison, and Noah, and we could see what they were all doing at the same time. And for this episode, it built so well, and thematically and tonally, there are so many moments that resonated, especially alongside Allison's birth. Noah's off partying, possibly about to meet George Clooney. Cole is coming to terms with the family curse, thinking that he can never have children. Of course, it's very strongly implied that Allison is actually pregnant with Cole's child. I don't think it's going to be Scott's. But anyway, it's funny because so much of the stuff going on in this episode on paper looks like a soap opera. But, and mind you, I've never watched a soap opera, but I like to imagine that there's a little bit more dimension to what's going on here, and it was really powerful. I got pretty weepy, especially during the birth and holding on to this guy. And, Allison's alone there in the dark, and she's got this great nurse helping her, but yeah, to be going through that whole process and to not feel supported, loved, to not have anyone you care about in that room with you, just seems awful. And really, really fantastic acting job there from Ruth Wilson. And as far as, as far as birth scenes that I've seen in movies or TV shows, maybe because it's still fresh in my mind, but this one really felt viscerally like a birth, more than a lot of the kind of stuff you see on TV, where it's like, push twice, ugh! Oh good, the baby's here. So yeah, props to everyone there. The rainstorm, yeah, just tied everything together really well. Great episode, great episode. This will be one of those ones that I think when I just feel like watching something in the style of The Affair, this will be one of the ones that I just jump to. The same way with Lost, I'll jump to like Walkabout or The Constant and something like that. And then lastly, Homeland. Really cool to see everyone kind of on the same page. Gung-ho for Miranda Otto being kind of the villain, and kind of fun to also in this same episode be like, oh great, we're arresting her, and then for her to have like enough of an excuse or an alibi for her and her Russian friend to kind of make things difficult, complicated. She could be okay. So yeah, now there's a nice focus to everything now, and it's good to see everyone believing Carrie and on the same side as her for the most part. I love God, what's his name? Dara Doll, Murray Abrams, there we go, it just came to me. And yeah, well, who knows what's going on with him. But anyway, enjoying that show quite a bit. I think that is it for TV right now. Yeah, boo!